Hi, this is Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. Time to switch gears here. I showed these two knives in an earlier video, and I was going to do a side-by-side fillet comparison. And luckily, we've got a volunteer here to be part of the demo. But I am going to switch gears just a little bit. I was going to do basically a fillet off. I have a Rapala Fillet Knife and also a Mora. The Mora is not a true fillet knife. The aspects of fillet knife, the characteristics rather, is the flex. If you look at the flex on the Rapala, I get like almost zero flex out of the Mora knife. That would be compared to something similar to just a standard bushcraft type knife. This is quite thicker than the Mora, but I get a little more flex out of this Mora obviously because it's thinner steel, but it's not really designed to be a true fillet knife. I would think this would be more of like a bait knife. You see those a lot for sale in bait shops for cutting bait. This would obviously get the job done. I could fillet fish with this just fine, and I could fillet fish with this just fine. But sometimes there's the right tool for the right job. The grip on this Rapala, it's a nice hand-filling grip with a forward guard. That's something that's definitely missing from this Puko style bushcraft knife. You know, your hands are going to be bloody and slimy from handling fish. The last thing you want is to have an accident by having your hand slide up the knife. So I've got a nice grip on it. I showed the flex, how flexible that blade is. That allows me to cut into the contour of the fish and follow the cavity, follow the ribs and the backbone all the way out the tail. Now this is just my technique for filleting. I'm sure there's guys that know way more about this than me, but this is how I was shown to do it. This is the way I do it, and it works for me. Okay, so I've got my fish laid out. The first cut I'm going to do is behind the fin. I'm going to go all the way down until I feel the backbone. Now I take the point of the knife, I come at the intersection of this cut, right along the spine, and I go in until I feel the ribs. And I'm just taking the point, going in, hitting a rib, moving, hitting a rib, moving. Now right now I don't feel a rib, so this is the end of the rib cage. So I'm going to take the knife, poke it all the way through. Now it's coming out the bottom. Now I'm going to angle the fillet knife down slightly, and I can feel it rubbing on the bone of the tail itself. Okay, all the way out. Now when I flip this fish over, you can see the meat right here is bone, so if I go down just a hair more, I'm into the bone. So I've got all the meat that's available off of there. Now off the back, I can feather it down, following the ribs. Okay, so that is a fillet with the scale and the skins on. Now the one feature of this Mora is this sawed back. That would actually be to take the scales off. I've never really been a fan of doing that personally. What I actually do is I just cut the meat right off the skin. Another reason to have a nice fillet knife that's flexible. And then the angle I hold the knife at lets me either dig down into where I'm touching the skin again or right up if I'm too deep. There you go. There's the skin. No meat at all on this. There's a fillet. No scales, no skin. If I were to go any further down in here, I get into the gut cavity. That's not really what I'm after. So I'm going to flip it over, do the same cut, behind the back fin, all the way to the spine. Nice, performing really nice. The grip and feel on a fillet knife is especially important because if you have a good day fishing, you're going to be filleting for quite a bit. Okay, ride that bone all the way out of the tail. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to spread that apart, cut down the ribs. Because you're constant contact with the bones on a fillet knife, they do dull fairly fast, plus the skin's kind of hard on them. So a knife like this, it would be handy to have a backup. And again, I could do all the filleting with the Mora just fine, but this is the right tool for the right job. Okay, I'm going to trap the skin against this board. Cut down until I contact the skin. Just cut the meat right off there. Nice razor sharp. I'm really putting no effort into this. If I would have hewed this board a little flatter, I'd have been better, but it works. There you go. One fillet, no skin. One skin, no meat. Here's the fish. The only thing left in here, see, this is into the gut cavity. I didn't cut that, other than to probe in to show you what it was. So as I'm filleting this, the scent's down. If I was in a setting where I was in a camp where there would be predators around, everything's moderately maintained. This fish now would be usable as bait if you had a fish trap, or you could bait hooks with it. You could use it as to bait in raccoons, possums, skunks. You can get a lot of animals with a dead fish like this. So just a real quick demo of the possibilities with this fillet knife. This is also good for deboning large game. So similar how I'm gliding the knife between bone and meat, that would work also along back straps on a deer. The one thing to keep in mind with this is this blade, because it's flexible, it is fragile, you could break it. That's why this eliminates this from a general purpose knife. A fillet knife is a fillet knife. The Mora, you could get by with it just fine for filleting fish. I believe the fact that the sheath clips onto your belt, so it's an impromptu knife. When you're not really planning on doing much, you can pull the knife out of your tackle box or your kit, slip it under your pocket or your belt, and be wearing this. That way you're not constantly searching for a cutting tool. Great option. Stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about it rusting. I'm not personally a fan of high-vis knives. It's a good idea, I just never really have liked it. I kind of like just the light yellowish green cap on this. I've been carrying this knife a lot, and I see it in my bag, and I can, pick it out of a crowd of gear fairly easily. So this is easing me into the high-vis knives, I believe. But it's got a great grip on it. Standard Mora, quality's awesome. If you pay attention to some of the other videos, you're going to see this Mora in a lot of use. So this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. Thanks for watching.